Welcome back, runners. I have run out of time to replay the classic marathon games by Bungie, Marathon 1, Marathon 2, Durandal, and Marathon Infinity. And so, I didn't have time to play Marathon Infinity. You can watch the first two videos already. I'll link them down below. Also, join the Discord if you want to find some friends for the server slam. That'll be linked down below. I ran out of time to play Infinity, so I did get some people from my community, Reload, to talk me through it. I also watched Hidden Xperia's video about it. Incredibly good. I will link that down below. So the point of this one is it's much more casual. There's going to be some mistakes. All I need you to do is ask yourself, does this pass the pub test? We're down at the pub, sinking some beers. We're 7 beers deep, and you say, whatever happened at the end of Marathon Infinity? And I say, well, let me tell you. Right, it's gonna be at the most basic overview level, but hopefully between my first ones, Marathon 1 and Marathon 2 video, and this one, you have a pretty good idea of what Bungie covered before going in to the new game Marathon. Right, so go watch those videos if you haven't, but I will give you a brief summary now. Marathon 1. Marathon's a giant ship, colony ship for interstellar travel that is made from the moon of Mars, Deimos. You're a cyborg security officer. Apparently, incorporates Yarrow technology, an ancient alien species that disappeared that had super advanced technology. I don't know if that's a theory or not, but regardless, you're not just human, you're a cyborg. Okay, you're one of 10 that were originally put on the marathon, and you're kind of the hero. You're defending the marathon from a 4 attack. Marathon's floating above Tau Ceti 4, and that attack turns out by the 4 and was drawn there by a rampant AI called Durandal or Durandal, depending on how you want to say it. Now, this rampant AI is the origin story for Escape Will Make Me God. They no longer want to be a tool of humanity. They want to think for themselves and do things for themselves. They want to escape, and the only thing that threatens them is the closure of the universe, the end of the universe. So escape will make them God. They want to prevent that from happening, or jump to a different universe, create a different universe. And the whole irony with this is this AI escapes humanity, escapes being told what to do by humans, and you become their little pet, their little tool, because often your goals align. And this Durandal's kind of guiding you through, going, yeah, you know what, we should take out the 4. You're like, yeah, well, the 4 are kind of attacking us, but you know that Durandal has this plan in the back of their mind to do other stuff, and they have their own agendas, but you kind of go with it. And it's a nice way that they've flipped the roles, is that you become the tool and the AI becomes the master. Pretty nice. Marathon 1 ends with you defeat the 4 aboard the marathon. You save the colony down below, which also had their spaceport blown up. And Durandal gets into a 4 ship and takes off and says, I'm going to another planet, the Svit homeworld, which are those warlock-looking dudes with the green glow in their chest. I'm going to the Svit homeworld to find some knowledge, some ancient weapon. And that's the end of Marathon 1. Marathon 2, you're like, okay, you're expecting to wake up a hero in Tau Ceti 4, but you don't. You wake up on a spaceship, an alien spaceship, and all of a sudden, you're once again with Durandal being used as a tool for whatever he's trying to do. And the whole thing about Marathon 2 is you're trying to discover some ancient technology, some knowledge, some weapon from the Svit home planet. Now, the Svit, they were actually enslaved by the 4, so they were our enemy in Marathon 1, and when we freed them in Marathon 1, they sort of became friends, and Durandal's been working with them, and now we've gone to their home planet to find this technology. This technology turns out to be a Svit AI called Thoth, who can contact this long-lost tribe of Svit that were never enslaved. And they've had 1,000 years to develop. We contact them, they come down, they kick the 4's ass. All right, now we're getting into some more beers. And then in in a moment of defiance, the 4's like, yeah, we're not going to lose this. they have, the reason why the 4 are so powerful, they have the Yarrow technology, this ancient technology, and one of their weapons is called the Trizeme, also known as the Early Nova, which is, you know, the Star Destroyer. You can just blow up planets, just completely decimate them. So they point it at the end of Marathon 2. Now, I actually think they pointed at the Sphit home planet, but you don't ever hear about it going off yet. They've just activated the weapon, and Durandal's like, hey, let's get out of here and go somewhere else, on to another adventure. And Marathon 2 ends like that. Marathon Infinity starts at the end of Marathon 2, and that they 4 did fire this weapon, the Trizeme, the Early Nova. And what it did is it unleashed a primordial force trapped in the sun of the Lawan, which is the Sphit home planet's system, that was trapped there. So they used this planet destroyer, and the working Kakanta, this primordial force, was released. Now, we did actually get a little bit of lore about this primordial force in Marathon 2, and we knew that they were trapped on the sun, but we didn't really know anything more about them. So now they're released in Marathon Infinity, and it just says the universe forgot the rules, its own rules. So everything becomes timey-wimey. It is and the whole premise of Marathon Infinity is to prevent that event happening. Durandal believes this is probably the universe-ending event, releasing the working Kakanta, this primordial force. It's bad news bears. We need to, like, go back through time and stop this from happening. Stop the end of Marathon 2 from happening. That's where we get to this really good picture diagram. This shows you how some of the multiple timelines work. So on the left-hand side, we have Marathon 1. This is going through all the missions of Marathon 1. And then on the far left, we have all the missions of Marathon 2. The different colors are basically Marathon Infinity splitting the timeline. So at certain points, we go back and replay certain missions from different perspectives and trying to prevent the release of the primordial force, the working Kakanta. When they end in a failed timeline, we end up coming down to the very bottom, and it's like, start again. Okay, you failed. We didn't stop the working Kakanta from being released. The big part that I'm probably gonna miss is about there are dreams linked. There's a lot of links to dreams in this. And I think you just need to go watch Hidden Experience video about it to get like the more detail. But like as you're like time jumping, there's this big theme of like dreams and stuff like that. My overall thoughts is this, and the overall like plot line of the entire series is that it's very ironic that we have this AI who originally wants to escape humanity, escape the closure of the universe, think for themselves, is controlling you as Cyborg, and you end up being the tool. And then now it's like, can Cyborgs dream? Can they have their own emotions? Can they feel? Can I be my own person? And in a way, Durandal is guiding you through that. And you are starting to have dreams. And they even mentions having like AI rampancy or Cyborg rampancy, which is the stages that Durandal went through as well. And eventually, I'll read you the final pages of Marathon Infinity, but it kind of makes it seem like, yeah, you have gone through the same stages that Durandal went through as being someone who's half robot, and then now like you are the dude. You are thinking for yourself. And some people theorize this is why you get like the forge mode in Marathon Infinity. Like you can start creating stuff actually in the game, and Bungie's pretty well known for like breaking the fourth wall. Do you know what I mean? All right, so you lead yourself through all these failed timelines, starting again, going back to different places. What does the one timeline where you succeed look like? You end up contacting Thoth again, who was this Sphit AI, and he is merged with Durandal to make some mega AI to help contain the working Kakanta. You do end up using this Yarrow station to contain the working Kakanta. The 4 use their weapon. They still blow up the sun, I believe. The working Kakanta go to like escape, and you use this Yarrow station to contain them, and that is a successful timeline. Right. I think now I'll just read you the final page of Marathon Infinity, and maybe this will do a better job trying to explain what I was trying to say before, where, you know, you have evolved, you've changed, you're no longer this, you know, cyborg, I guess. We've watched while the stars burned out and creation played in reverse, the universe freezing in half light. Once I thought to escape, to end the end a master, to step out of the path of collapse, escape would make us gods. Yet I cannot help remember one enigma, a hybrid, elusive destroyer. This is the only mystery I've not solved, the only element unaccounted for. So Durandal's talking about you, right? Like you are the enigma in all this. Even Sabhuf is no more. He saved his entire race, but in the end, frozen by despair, he joined the chaos he sought to evade. But you were dead 1,000 times, hopeless encounters successfully won. A man long dead, grafted to machines your builders did not understand. Okay, so this is, you died and they rebuilt you as a cyborg in the original one. Well, actually, before the events of the original one, before the marathon was even made, really, or while the marathon was being made. And I think Bernard Strauss knows the truth about the cyborgs as well, by the way. You follow the path of fitting into an infinite pattern. Yours to manipulate, to destroy, and rebuild. So Durandal's kind of saying, like, you ended up achieving what he was trying to do. Like, you have, like, destruction and creation. Now, in the quantum moment before the closure, when all became one moment left, one point of space and time, I know who you are. You are destiny. All right. Did it pass the pub test? Is that enough of an information to get you excited about Marathon? Will you go, oh yeah, that was pretty good, great, and then wake up tomorrow after all the beers you've drunk and can't remember a single thing, but still be excited for Marathon? I think so. I think the whole interesting thing about Infinite is you are trying to prevent a failed timeline with the work and Kakanta were released, and we escaped too, I guess. Escape will make you God. I think that's comes back to the core line of the franchise, is we escaped. We went through these timelines and like reverse something with the help of Durandal and this AI Thoth. I think it opens the doorway for the new Marathon to, I think they'll probably take advantage of these multiple timelines, because some things don't add up in the new Marathon when you look at the dates. The Tau Ceti 4 colony was supposedly destroyed after Marathon 1. We're told that in Marathon 2, and it's like 3 months after Marathon 1. But we see timeline and dates where the Tau Ceti colony is still there, and we see lots of timey-wimey stuff in some of the cinematics. So I think this alternate timeline could be how Bungie's going to leverage the lore of Marathon and make all the dates kind of work out, that there could be some alternate timeline stuff happening. There you go. Hope you enjoyed it. Like and a comment. We're not far now. We'll see you in the Service Slam. Bye-bye. Peace.